Hi, I am Mai. I'm 24 years old, and this is my story. I was born to Vietnamese parents in the Czech Republic. I have lived a normal first-generation Asian immigrant childhood, full of ignorant children for my culture, which made me, unfortunately, reject my culture, language, and much more. I'd like to think that I was a creative and clever child and a teenager. I went to something like a pre-high school for universities. In my last 2 years of my high school, I have decided not to continue my studies and begin to plan my future, no matter the career. I wanted to travel, I wanted to purchase a house, I wanted to have a couple of children, and you know, the usual. But most definitely, I wanted to move to the UK. So my plan was to work for another year after graduating and then move to the UK to start a new life with my now husband. But unfortunately, I had to stay longer. At the beginning of 2018, when I was only 20 years old, I have gone to my annual gynecology checkup with my best friend, Andrea, and my doctor has found an unusual thing. Her initial diagnosis was a myoma, which is very common for women, but who are older than 20 years old. So she has apparently seen the growth a year prior, but hasn't told me, which is quite nice. So it has grew about 2 centimeters. So it was right now about an inch, 2 to 3 centimeters big. It was very, very scary to realize that I have a growth in my womb, but myoma is meant to be benign, like it's not meant to be anything serious. So I was calming myself down then. So she referred me to this specialist for myomas in Prague. So I have messaged him and got an appointment that spring, and apparently with his checkup, my growth has grown another 1 to 2 centimeters, which is quite fast for a month or two hiatus of not getting it checked. So it was unusually fast growth, which is very scary. So my Prague doctor has quickly scheduled me into a surgery, and when they took it out afterwards, my doctor has told me that they couldn't remove it all. Apparently it had ripped in pieces, so they tried to pick up all the pieces, which me in my state, waking up out of anesthesia, I was crying my eyes out. I was really not having it. So intensive care was very nice, but then they sent me home and then sent the tissue for testing. So for now, I'm thinking, all right, it's just a myoma, it's fine, everything's fine. A month has passed and I was still recovering. My work had been notified, and my doctor has called me for a face-to-face consult, which is okay. A little weird, because you don't really do face-to-face consults unless it's very, very important, right? So yeah, that had me worried. I got there, I've sat down with my doctor and his nurse, and they have told me that it was not a myoma, that it was in fact a PEComa, which I have no freaking clue what it is. Thank you very much. I was briefly told that it's a rare type of cancer where there's a very small amount of literature on it, but it has a lot of mentions that it always comes back. So there was just a lot about that. Basically, one day it's gonna metastate and it's gonna kill me. I was holding myself back. I was not crying. I was fine. I was taking it all well, actually. And then like the nurse kept talking and saying, "Are you okay? Are you gonna be fine?" And then I just started crying. I'm doing great. I'm always great with emotions. And then she just kept saying, "Are you okay? You sure you're gonna be fine?" And then I just cried like I've never cried before. Right after that, Right after that, I was being told that I should get a hysterectomy because it's a source of the PEComa. It was part of it, so I agreed. I'm okay with that. So basically, I was unable to bear children at the age of 20. Yeah. I also had a CT scan planned, which showed nothing else anywhere else, which is good. So when I had my hysterectomy at the age of 20, they have left my ovaries. So it was a total hysterectomy with my ovaries left inside me, just in case I ever wanted children outside of my body, which is great, and my hormones was kept intact. I didn't go into an early menopause. So after that surgery, I was in an intensive care unit with ladies that just had a C-section. So I was very upset about that, but I didn't really care. I had my own problems, so it didn't really affect me as much, but looking back, it was very messed up. Yeah, so I just brushed it off for there. So after 2 of my surgeries, I just had a polyp scraping and just a normal gyno checkup. They didn't really do any CT scanners on anything, so I thought I was fine by then. I thought I was okay. So when it came to November 2018, I was finally moving to the UK and starting my new life. I was so happy. I was excited. I got married February 2019, and I got my national insurance. I got registered with the GP. I told them about everything. I had my doctor's notes translated to English just so I can give it to them. And they immediately referred me to a gynecologist and a CT scan, which is perfect. I got a phone call of my gynecologist saying that we should talk face to face. You know, I've sat in this quiet room with my husband, with my gynecologist and his nurse, and they just told me that there was something inside of my lungs. I was really holding it back. I wasn't gonna cry. I'm doing fine. And then everything came crashing down because it hasn't even been a year since my last surgery. It shouldn't have happened, right? It should have been taken care of. I thought that just the surgery was enough, but I guess it wasn't. I was quite upset that it wasn't enough. But I wasn't crying. I was fine. The nurse made me cry again by overly being empathetic, basically, by saying, "What about your family in Czech, right?" Oh, I was crying. I was so crying. I was not. Oh goodness. I cried again like I've never cried before. I'm really trying to hold it together. I'm trying to tell the story, but there's gonna be a lot of editing, and now I'm gonna cry my eyes out. I was referred to Christie's in Manchester. I was 100% sure it's PEComa, basically, right? We all knew. Everybody knew. But you know, we need to check. So I was referred to a lung biopsy. I was like, oh, something new. That's cool. I haven't done that yet. So basically, a lung biopsy is where they stick a very, very long needle into my lungs, and then they put this other thing through that needle and pull out pieces of the PEComa. It's all done under local anesthetic, and I can see my doctor doing it in front of me, basically. You have to breathe shallow, and you can't really take deep breaths. It's done in a CT scan tunnel. And they done a very good job. I think the healing was like a week or 2, and I couldn't breathe fully for like 2 weeks. I got off work as well because of that. So results came back in, and long and behold, it was PEComa. My Czech doctors didn't really want to send anything in to the Christie's doctors, so we had to do that biopsy, unfortunately, which I didn't have to. But okay. Nah, I'm just being petty now. So it's back. Not even a year later, it's back. So my Christie's doctor has offered me a chemotherapy, which is not a cure because there's no cure. It's only to control the cancer that I already have, to keep it under control, to avoid the inevitable. So the chemo consisted of one session of 8 hours. It was every 3 weeks, 6 times, and I had side effects where I would gain weight due to steroids. I would have hair loss. I would have weakness and joint pain. I couldn't walk for 1 to 2 weeks out of the 3. And then whenever I felt better again, I had to be hit again with chemo. I lost every motivation for what I love. I lost motivation to move. Because why, right? Why move when you can only feel good for 1 week? So I didn't game much. I didn't just lay there in bed and watch a lot of TV. I felt like I was losing my mind, basically, and I was forgetting things a lot. Apparently that's what you do on chemo. You just, your brain is a little, I've heard that people call it chemo brain. And I've just lost a lot of sense of just wanting to exist, you know? Weirdly enough, I have accepted death, and I try to be as positive as I could have been. So, can you stop crying? No. After countless of CT scans and after my chemo was done, I was told there was progress. It hasn't grown, only minor changes. As there was like little growths in my lungs, like everywhere, so there's minor changes, which is great news, which is terrific news, basically. It was awesome. Right, I was happy. I wasn't though, because I already accepted that I die. I already was content with my death, and I had no motivation at all. Basically, you are going to live for a while now, but I'm super lost. I was just lost. I was just very, very lost. So like after a while, I reconnected to my past plans with my husband, where we traveled. We saved up, and I didn't go back to work because I couldn't bear just going back and then saying it's grown, like go back. So I just didn't want to do that. Life is very short for me now. I will not know when it will restart growth rapidly again. So I was just gonna be like, okay, let's live my life to the fullest. But since November of 2020, it has restarted the growth, slowly, very, very slowly. My doctor has told me it's gonna take a few years before I will feel any side effects of the cancer if it grows steadily in this pace as it's been growing. So for now, I'm just getting my scans, my CT scans every 3 to 4 months. I am trying to get onto this trial from America, from the US of A, called ABI 009, which uses the drug nab-sirolimus, I think, which will hopefully work out for me. Apparently you don't feel many side effects with that, so I could potentially work with being on that treatment. I can now sort of live to the fullest, sort of. I started volunteering for Young Lives versus Cancer, which is awesome. Like I'm helping the charity that have helped me when I was in need, and they're still helping me. I have started streaming. It's been a year since I started streaming. I'm doing more YouTube, and I'm finally doing this video and just making content and gaming more and just enjoying life outside of this room as well, which is awesome. I'm planning my life again with my husband, who has been nothing but the biggest rock for me, especially emotionally. He has taken care of me when I was losing my mind. I would like to also thank my family, my husband's family, my friends, online and offline friends. And I'm getting all the love. I love you all. And please take care of your health, guys. Get those prevention checkups, you know? They're there to help you guys. So I really hope you'll be fine. Thank you so much for watching.